Good morning. Today we are discussing the topic of school uniforms. Luckily, I know someone who attends a Catholic high school and wears a uniform on a daily basis. My good friend, Sebastian Sinnott. Let's put all the cards on the table. Do you like uniforms, or do you think that uniforms don't allow for a unique enough style?
Well, uniforms obviously aren't unique because you're being forced to wear the same thing on a day to day basis. So I'm actually very opposed to that, just because I think teenagers should be able to express themselves, especially at this age where they are trying to figure out who they really are and figure out a plan for the rest of their lives, really, because the persona that you kind of identify yourself as sticks with you for a long time.
So, can you describe your uniform from top to bottom?
So my uniform is typically just a pair of khakis and a green polo. But the polo does come in a couple other colors. Green is just the most popular, and then the pants you can get in navy as well.
So, that's what the guys wear. What do the girls wear?
The girls actually have the exact same uniform, so they have nothing unique for them, no skirts or anything. It's a very unisex uniform. I might also call it kind of more so masculine, really.
So, about 2 years ago, you went from a non uniform school to a uniform school. What was the jump like from those two very different schools?
Well, in grade 8 and the start of grade 9, I wasn't very interested in my physical appearance. So I basically had a uniform for myself throughout grade 8, which was just jeans and a t shirt. It was very basic. I didn't really identify it as a uniform then, but now looking back at it, it in a sense was, mostly because I didn't really care. So it was really easy for me to go into grade 9, but then once I actually started caring about fashion and realizing there are so many different things I can do with clothing and show who I am through it, that's when it started to get difficult because I'd buy all these pieces I really liked and I couldn't really show them off any day of the week.
So, obviously, you're not very pro uniform. But why do you think schools enforce school uniforms?
I think schools figure that it gives them a sense that they're more professional. Also, I think they are assuming it's going to create an even playing field amongst students because some might be less fortunate than others and not be able to afford very nice clothing. So I think they try to even it out through that.
Do you think that all schools should enforce uniforms, or it seems like you would prefer that there would be no schools with uniforms?
Yeah, I don't necessarily think a uniform is needed. I do believe that they should have strict guidelines though for what you can and can't wear. So I think you should be able to incorporate your own pieces, but just not willy nilly because it is still an environment where you are trying to be somewhat serious.
How do you think the uniform wearing affects the moods of kids at school? I guess what I'm saying here is there a psychological effect on students when they wear uniforms?
Yeah, I definitely believe that there is a psychological aspect to it. A lot of the kids I find are very glum in the mornings, or all throughout the day, really. And even just my school has dress down days, which make kids overjoyed, and that could just be because they actually get to wear something different from what they usually wear. But I also think they really feel like it is restricting them a lot. Even just wearing something like a t-shirt in the morning or after school on your way out of the school, you can kind of show who you are through that just for those moments. So even that I personally cherish and find it very nice. I greatly prefer that and I feel way better in my own clothing.
Do you know of any students that would say the opposite of what you're saying, that would be pro-uniform?
Yeah, there are certainly some students who believe the uniform is a good thing. I think their biggest point that they push is that it makes it easy to get ready in the morning, is their thinking. But really, I believe if you're just going to throw something on in the morning, you can do that anyways. So if you don't care about what you look like and are fine just throwing on a uniform, then I think you would be fine just throwing on a normal pair of pants and a t-shirt every morning.
If you could make one alteration to your school uniform, what would it be?
I would probably make it more serious because really what we're wearing right now makes us look like we're employees at some sort of golf resort or something, which I don't think is a job any of us are really aiming for. So I wouldn't say we would have to make it a suit like a private school, but I think very strict rules on the dress code would be nice. So we wouldn't necessarily have a uniform, but we could still keep structure and a more prestigious feeling environment. So it would be somewhat like an office, I guess. We would just have.
And finally, do you see uniforms in school systems 50 years from now, or will they die out? In other words, which direction do you see society taking? Enforcing more structure or allowing more freedom of expression?
Society, I'm sure, will never be able to pick a side. But I don't ever see the uniforms actually dying out. I think with our generation, we are becoming more rebellious, and I'm sure my children will be even more rebellious than we are now. So I think people are not going to be as fond of uniforms in the future, but I don't think they will ever completely disappear because there are always people who believe it does create a more serious feeling and a more prestigious work environment.
Alright, well, thanks for your time. And that concludes our interview with Sebastian Sinnott and his opinion on school uniforms.